Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite May 5th, 2021 review. Blood and Guts was the main event. Did we get blood? Yes. Did we get guts? I don't know about that. There wasn't a whole lot of guts going on here at the end of this match, which I thought was absolutely bullshit and trash. Truth of the matter is, folks, you had the ending with Chris Jericho and MJF on the top of the cage, and MJF is threatening to throw Jericho off the top of the cage unless the Inner Circle surrenders. What trash. And lo and behold, they surrender. Sammy Guevara surrenders for the team to save Chris Jericho. And in the end, Jericho gets thrown off the top of the cage anyway. The fall had to be very protective on Jericho. The guy is almost 50 years old, if not 50. And he lands through a fake metal rampway with a lot of padding underneath the board that he landed on. I thought that was trash. The match itself was great. It was fun. It was entertaining. It definitely lived up to the hype. Pinnacle was getting their asses kicked. Why they ended up losing this match that way is beyond me. What I think should have happened is Jericho should have just gotten his ass thrown off the top of the steel cage without any announcement by MJF and have the Pinnacle turn the match around and get the advantage on the Inner Circle, inevitably making the Inner Circle have to give up. That's it. That's what I would have done. That would have been a real cruel, nasty thing to do to Jericho. And to set this up so where they have to surrender is a very weak-ass heel-like move. This is something I would see The Miz doing, or someone else from the WWE heel-like mentality. This was trash. A fucking total disappointment of an ending. Again, AEW fails to deliver on their ending. They deliver with the match, but they failed to deliver with the ending. The ending was weak. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as fucking Revolution with the exploding death match. It wasn't that as bad as that, thank God. But still pretty bad. But I'll be honest with you, man. This was trash for the ending. A very disappointing match for a match that was going very well. And Pinnacle got their asses kicked. And yet they end up winning anyway with a cheap-ass win. Wrestling as a whole does not know how to produce tough-ass evil characters. They look for loopholes, they cheat, they find ways of winning cheap. That's all they fucking do. I hated this ending. I thought it was absolute garbage. I am thankful. I was saying this to my good buddy Matt. I was saying, hey, maybe this match belongs on Double or Nothing. I am so fucking glad this didn't come on Double or Nothing. I'm glad this is not on the match card because this is the ending we would have got for pay-per-view for $50. Oh, shit, I would have said to hell with this shit for a while before I buy another fucking pay-per-view to watch and then review. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to fucking do it. Wow, what crappy ending of AEW Dynamite. And this was a good show overall, but the ending just screwed it all up. It's like watching a good movie and then the ending of that movie turns it into shit. There was one thing that The Rock said in a promo in WrestleMania 19 that I thought was absolutely great, and it relates to what we're talking about here. He says in his promo before facing Steve Austin at WrestleMania 19, he goes on and he says, "You know, Hollywood has taught me something. People don't remember Act 1, Act 2, they remember Act 3. The ending, the climax, the whole shebang." And, you know, this being the very last match that Austin The Rock ever had, people remember that at the end, he ends up beating Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. Well, Dynamite had a good beginning, middle, and then the end sucked dick. It fucking sucked dick. And when it comes down to it, that's the deal. The ending is all that matters. It's just like in sports. You could be playing really good throughout the entire game, but if at the end of that game you walk out with an L, even though you were playing good throughout the entire game, and you fucked up at the end, you lost. It don't matter. And this episode was a loss. I don't give a fuck how you want to put it, how you want to string it, how you want to claim this was a good show. It was a good show overall, but at the end, they failed. This was a failed ending. And a fucking... You can't have shit like this. This is like WWE with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, he's got everything going for him. He's got the act. He's got the character. He's got the intimidation factor. And yet at the end of the day, he always seems to lose the big matches. That's what AEW is doing as a whole when it comes to these creative ideas with these super duper matches they put on. They had Exploding Death Match. They had a fucking match where the ring was supposed to explode. Why the fuck have that? Just have the barbed wire as the rope and the fucking the barbed wire exploding when the guy hits it, and that's it. Be done with it. And all you have to do is worry about the finish. I don't get this shit, man. I really don't. This is very disappointing for overall as a wrestling fan. Forget about being a WWE fan. I know I uploaded a video earlier today. I did that actually. I recorded the video at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't actually get a chance to upload until around 7, 8-ish. So I do apologize for uploading that so late. It took me about a couple hours before I had the chance to do that. So I apologize about that. I was busy working and doing some other shit after work, so I never got a chance to upload it immediately after I was done actually recording it. But bottom line, guys, I mean, you know, I ranted about WWE wrestlers being upset with how everything should be going creatively and everything else. I'll be straight up honest with you. As a wrestling fan overall, on any promotion, this is disappointing. As a paying customer, I pay for every single AEW pay-per-view. I have every single one of them, except for one which I went to see over at my friend's house. We watched All Out back in 2020. That's the only pay-per-view I didn't fully pay for 100%. I paid a portion of it, and my friend paid the other portion of it. Bottom line is, I pay for every fucking pay-per-view so I can come on here and record a video and upload my personal opinions and how I felt about the show and how it all went down. And I'll be straight up, I am so glad this did not go on that fucking card. Double or Nothing would have been a disappointment. A big-time disappointment. Thank God they did this on free TV. My buddy Matt, he said, hey, I'd rather see this for free than watch it for $50. Apparently, he had some super intuition, possibly that this was going to be a shit ending, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he had high hopes that this was going to be a good ending, and it just turned out to be crap. But bottom line, man, I don't know what the fuck we watched here tonight with that ending. The rest of the show, though, like I said, wasn't bad. It was fun to watch. The first hour was good. It had a series of different matches. It felt like a regular, ordinary Dynamite episode. But there was good stuff that took place here. The first match on the card was Omega and Nakazawa versus Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Moxley and Kingston actually won this match with Omega walking out on fucking Nakazawa during this match. Why he did that, I have no idea. That was fucking retarded. But they won this by a lariat, half and half suplex combo on Nakazawa and the cover for the 1-2-3. My attitude, it was a good opener to the show. It wasn't bad. I have no complaints on it. But it is what it is. It's nothing special. It's just a decent way of opening up the show at this point. Post-match, the Young Bucks come out, talks trash to Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. So they are talking a lot of trash to them, distracting them. Eventually, Kenny Omega shows up and attacks them. Or no, not Kenny Omega. The Good Brothers show up. They attack, and then they do a total annihilation of Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. So we see the end of that with those guys. They get their asses whooped. Then we get One Wing Angel by Kenny Omega. From Kenny Omega, and he covers Eddie for a 3 to add insult to injury at that point. So, I don't know. I think we might see Eddie Kingston eventually get some kind of revenge on Kenny Omega. Maybe possibly get a world title match, but I doubt it. Cody beat QT Marshall. This was a good match as well. QT Marshall did very well in this match. Very, very well. He won by submission, though. Cody with a figure 4. And that was that. The match itself, great stuff. Overall, these guys did very well together. But it seems like Cody seems to put on a good match for absolutely everybody. And everyone succeeds whenever they face Cody. QT Marshall, in my personal opinion, I don't particularly care for him no matter what. I don't care that he faced Cody and had a good match. He still sucks in my opinion. He needs to get off fucking TV. But then the post portion of this match, we have Anthony Ogogo, which I wish this guy would just go away, hits the ring and lays Cody out with a deadly body blow, a boxing punch to the body, and drapes a British flag over him. God almighty. That was some bullshit. I will definitely complain about that. I'm sick of Anthony Ogogo doing the body punch. The first match he had where he did that, that's one thing. I'm okay with, a little bit of realism. When you punch someone in the gut for real, in the liver or something like that, you're going to put them on the mat very easily. But continuously using the same fucking pathetic move over and over and over again, it becomes very ineffective in my personal opinion. It doesn't have the same exact impact that it would if you use it seldomly, not all the time. So personally, I just feel that move needs to go out of Anthony Ogogo's wrestling moveset, because it's not going over, in my opinion. I mean, you didn't see the Big Show every fucking match use a fucking a punch to someone's face every single match. I mean, yeah, he used it more often than not, but he had the choke slam he used at times. He kind of used both of those moves and switched back and forth. It wasn't every single time. If this guy had a different move he could utilize more often than the body punch to the stomach, I mean, I'd be okay with that move being utilized once in a while, but this guy's using it every fucking time he's in the ring. It's his signature move, and I don't see it to be all that big of a deal, not to mention the punch doesn't even really connect. So who gives a shit? When Big Show punched you in the fucking face, he really punched you in the fucking face. You could see it clearly touching the opponent's face. This guy does not look like he's punching his opponent in the stomach, and if he did, he'd probably knock the wind out of them. So of course they're not going to do something like that. And if he has to lighten up on the punch ain't going to be as effective. So it's a fucking shitty-ass move that shouldn't be used all the time. It's bullshit. So, we get All Ego Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky being interviewed. This was actually very entertaining shit. They didn't explain why these two are together right now, outside of the fact they share a common dislike towards Sting and Darby Allin. So Sky does a Riddler bit and says Sting is nothing more than a mosquito feeding off the blood of this company, and you know what we do with mosquitoes. We kill them. He says, so listen, Steve, Showtime's over, and Sky is franchise now, bitch. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the promo. Scorpio Sky did very good in this promo. A lot better than what Ethan Page had to say. He was just talking about the past history of Darby Allin and himself and what they did in the Indies. So yeah, he goes on stating that, but nobody wants to hear talk about a bunch of matches nobody could see. But medical history, the dent in Darby's forehead and the metal in his elbow, those are all Ego's destruction that he did to Darby Allin. So Darby Allin attacks and they brawl at this point. Why he would go in and attack two guys with him being the only one going in to fight these guys is absolutely stupid. Very, very bad strategy. Very bad strategy. Didn't like this at all on Darby Allin's part, but it was highly entertaining to watch. The heels get the better of him and grind Allin's face into the spikes on Scorpio's fancy shoes. And then Page throws Allin down the concrete stairs, and at this point Darby Allin's grabbing at different parts of his right arm. He's not looking too good, and a medic checks on Darby. And that's basically that segment, and we go to commercial break. Alright, so, Dr. Britt Baker. I loved her in this match. I know this was a very big-time squash match against Julia Hart, but this match, I saw a lot of character coming out of her. I loved the facial expressions she was giving off during this match, especially when she blocked in the lockjaw maneuver that she does to make her opponent submit. I am totally okay with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, winning the AEW Women's Championship, which was actually confirmed. That title will be taking place at Double or Nothing with Britt Baker facing Shida for the World Championship in the women's division. So I absolutely love that. Another segment was Taz breaking down Christian Cage's work since coming back to AEW, coming into AEW. And I don't know why they had him breaking down Christian Cage's maneuver set. Like, what the fuck does he give a shit about Christian Cage? I thought that was a really off-the-wall segment. Very fucking weird. Don't know why, but I just thought it was kind of stupid. Alright, so the next match was a fatal 4-way tag team matchup to determine the number one contenders who will actually face the AEW World Tag Team Champions at next week's episode. I don't know why why that would be taking place. Why wouldn't that be going on Double or Nothing? Which SCU won, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, but we're going to see this next week. Why aren't we getting this at the pay-per-view? I don't understand this shit. I really don't. We got a couple of weeks left. Why aren't we building Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian against the Young Bucks in an actual rivalry over the tag team titles? All we're doing is going straight into the fucking match at a next week episode, which, by the by, we've just had a big time episode here. Why are they trying to make these episodes feel like pay-per-views? We need to have storyline build for these shows. I gotta be quite frank with you guys. I think wrestling has lost its appeal when it comes to week episodes. I think television shows need to go. I think they need to go the New Japan route. New Japan, most of the time, they've recently, since the pandemic, they're having week-to-week episodes, just doing random matches for an hour. I honestly think that wrestling needs to just go to events only. No bullshit. No week-to-week shows with 2-hour episodes or 3 hours in Raw's case, which is god-awful fucking crap. I think wrestling needs to get rid of the week-to-week episodes and have an event that means something. And that's it. These week-to-week episodes don't mean shit to me, really. I'll be straight up honest with you. I've been feeling like this for a while, but haven't said it. But I honestly think that's really what we need to do with wrestling. Wrestling needs to be like a UFC event. UFC, every fucking week, they have a new group of people performing in front of you for 3 hours straight. And sometimes they're a hit and sometimes they're a miss. Most of the time, the pay-per-views are fun as hell to watch. Sometimes they're not so much. That's why I don't, get them online or buy them online. I actually go to a sports pub and watch it for like half the price or for practically nothing. Brandon, the Ale House here in St. Pete. I live in St. Pete, Florida, and Ale House allows you at this point in time since the pandemic to watch these events for free since they're not getting that many customers. And they're allowing people to come in there to watch it for free as long as they're eating and drinking there. So, I mean, going to a sports pub and just drinking, have some good food and watching some good old UFC is fun as hell to do. To be quite frank with you guys, I really think wrestling has lost its appeal for week-to-week television. I think it needs to go to events. They need to be like 2-3 hour events every couple of weeks or so, and put on a really good show. Make one title the main event, and then the rest of the show full of great matches, and you could tell stories within those events like New Japan Wrestling was doing. I absolutely love what New Japan Wrestling was doing. You get a full-on event, you wait a couple of weeks, sometimes the next week they come out with another event based on like a tournament or some shit. If they're doing week to week, if they're doing an actual tournament like New Japan, the Climax, New Japan Climax tournament, they're doing something like that. They have it week after week, practically almost every fucking day for 3 days straight, and then they take a break, and then next week they do the same thing all over again. So, I mean, that's something I think wrestling in both WWE and AEW, because I'll be, honestly, really, to be quite frank with you guys, I really enjoy the pay-per-views as long as I'm not watching the week-to-week shows. Because if you look at Fastlane, if you erase everything that took place from the Elimination Chamber to Fastlane with all the week-to-week shows, if they had nothing going on there, and you had Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, that was actually a really good match. That was a fun, entertaining matchup. Those two guys beat the shit out of each other, and I enjoyed it. I even came on here and said it. It was a good match. The problem is, it was played out on Raw too many times. So that's why the match sucked. Not to mention, it wasn't for a number one contenders match. That's another reason. It made no sense. That is the one major problem I had with that. But if you take away everything else, the week-to-week episodes, and you just base it from Elimination Chamber to the pay-per-view of Fastlane, and you take that match for example, that was a very good match. If you don't remember any of the other matches they had between Elimination Chamber and Fastlane. I mean, I hope you guys are getting my point here. I'll be honest, straight up, guys. I keep saying the same fucking things over and over again. I'm sorry. I just feel that if you get rid of the week-to-week shows, you have major pay-per-views or major events that you could produce on television on a selected date or day of the week to do week-to-week shows, or not week-to-week shows, do a special event on television like we got here tonight and actually deliver, which they did not with AEW. I thought that sucked. Oh, God. I'm not even going over the match. It was bloody. They beat the hell out of each other, but come on, guys. Come on. Really. And here we're getting a match with fucking SCU gonna be challenging Young Bucks for the AEW tag team titles next week instead of that Double or Nothing. And actually, I'd have preferred SCU versus the Young Bucks for the tag team titles at the pay-per-view. But we're not getting that, so whatever. It doesn't really matter. But SCU won this match. I figured they were going to win. I didn't think they were going to lose this match. That would have been really fucking stupid. But yeah, they won the match and walked away victorious here. We then get Kenny Omega just before the actual Blood and Guts match. This was in the second hour. We get Kenny Omega, and it's announced that next week we are going to find out who gets to face Kenny Omega for the World Championship at Double or Nothing. The two challengers will be Pac versus Orange Cassidy in a one-on-one match. The winner gets to face Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing at this point. We see Orange Cassidy come out, and Kenny Omega's like, wait, you're telling me I either am going to face Pac or I'm going to face who? Orange what? He was making a joke out of this. I absolutely loved it. He said, out of the two guys, Pac is actually a guy who's defeated me, made me submit, has beaten me in multiple tag team matches or multi-men matches. So why don't we skip that match and just have Pac go one-on-one with me at Double or Nothing and end this charade and just announce the match? He's already shitting on Orange Cassidy, saying this match is not going to happen. It's Pac versus Kenny Omega. I would be okay with Pac versus Kenny Omega for the World Championship, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Orange Cassidy is winning this match, and to be straight up with you guys, I don't think Orange Cassidy is even remotely on the same planet as Kenny Omega. I'm sorry. I mean, Pac isn't either, but Pac has, like he said, has beaten him before. So there's some history there. Orange Cassidy has not, and I personally wouldn't take Orange Cassidy to go up against Kenny Omega because, bottom line, anyone who thinks Orange Cassidy would beat Kenny Omega is a fucking idiot. Because the actual momentum this guy has developed over becoming a heel has gotten even huge. And him losing the title to a guy like Orange Cassidy who hasn't been doing much of anything except doing stuff with Trent and Chuck Taylor. That would be a fucking travesty of all travesties. I mean, that's insane. That's like somebody taking the title off of Roman Reigns, who doesn't deserve to be the champion and is in nowhere close with Roman Reigns' league. I mean, come on, man. They're not on the same level. Bottom line, Orange Cassidy on the same level. Do I see a match like how Roman and Daniel Bryan had at like Fastlane or SmackDown's last episode they had? Yeah, I could imagine Orange Cassidy putting up a really good fight, but him actually winning? No, I wouldn't have him win at all. He ain't ready for that yet. Now, giving him a test run to see how he would do in a main event world title match? Absolutely. I would love to see him in that, but it's going to be a predictable match. Pac is a little bit more... You could lean a little bit more on Pac, but I doubt you would even pick Pac for a match like this. Like, let's say if you were to go into a betting booth and bet who was going to win that match between Pac and Kenny Omega, you wouldn't take fucking Pac. What are you, nuts? Neither one of these opponents aren't even in the same league as Kenny Omega. I'm sorry. Horrible choices. They got nothing going here. I mean, Kenny Omega is probably going to stay world champion for quite a while. I don't see him losing the title anytime soon. So after that, he actually talks some shit about Orange Cassidy. He takes his glasses, gives it to Nakazawa, which I don't know why Nakazawa is even hanging out with him at this point when he ditched him during a tag team match earlier in the night. But he did anyway. He looked at the glasses and said, oh, wow, these glasses must be like $800 to $1,000. Either like somewhere on the black market or some kind of shit. They're very limited edition type of glasses. He gave them to Nakazawa, and he says, these look actually better on Nakazawa than they do on you. And nothing really said by Orange Cassidy. Just stood there and didn't say nothing. Just said, I'll see you in about 10 years and hope to see you when you're fully grown adult. And that's pretty much that. He insulted him. Cassidy didn't say nothing and just walked away. That's it. Real, lot of charisma there, Orange. I mean, you're sitting there being insulted with your own gimmick and you're not going to say anything. That is a little bit disappointing in my opinion. We have Miro show up after we come back from commercial break. Miro talks about how he says he's going to be a problem to anyone who carries a championship, except for the women's championship, of course. And he says that he signed a contract for next week, that he's getting a match with Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Unless Darby cannot compete, he will have to forfeit the championship. And Miro said, I hope you're not going to forfeit because I want to face you one-on-one. I don't care if you're ready or not. I want to be able to earn the right to win the championship, not have the title given to me. Either way, it doesn't matter if you're at 100% or not. I'm going to crush you and destroy you. And that was pretty much that. Very nice promo by Miro. I liked it. Do I see him winning the title? Probably not. It's a little too soon. I think he's going to lose, in which case I don't particularly like that idea at all, because Miro losing at this point when he's already trying to get a shot for a title is kind of ridiculous. Maybe they should have just put him in some matches, have him win some matches first, give it some time before they just rush him into a world championship of some kind. And then, if you stretch it out a little bit longer, him beating Darby Allin wouldn't be all that bad of an idea. But they're not doing that. They're just rushing into it. Just not thinking of the future, just the here and now. We want it now. We want it now. People want to see Miro placed in really good matches. Give him a championship match after he hasn't done fucking shit at all. Yeah, makes a lot of fucking sense. Oh, God. I'm saying that this was a good show, but yet I also am finding all kinds of things to rant about because it makes no sense. It's completely idiotic. It's not planned out. Not saying that they don't plan anything out, like they don't do things like WWE, but they're like rushing stuff too damn soon when they could just work on each and every one of these characters one-on-one and get their characters over first before they give them a championship opportunity when they haven't been winning any matches. The only person that I see they've been doing a good job with has been Britt Baker. She's the only one that's been focused on building into a number one contender for the women's championship. Other than that, what has Pac and Orange Cassidy done? What are they? Are 1 and 2 in their division? Maybe they've been winning matches that I haven't seen on television, but they weren't highlighting that. They weren't stating that on Dynamite that these guys have been winning on Dark, Elevation, whatever. They haven't been doing any of that. If they would have done that with Britt Baker, done that with the same way they did with Britt Baker with these two guys, I wouldn't be saying really much of anything. But then again, these two guys haven't been winning on Dynamite all that much. I don't know, man. I really don't. Then the last thing was the Blood and Guts match. Again, like I said, it either had to be won by submission or by surrender. And at the end, it was a weak-ass ending to have MJF act like he wasn't going to throw Jericho from the top of the cage if they were going to surrender, which they did, and he threw him off anyway. They should have just went with the idea of throwing Jericho off the top of the steel cage through the floor that was very padded and very weak looking. But being the case that Jericho is almost 50 years old, number one. Number two, they're very high up in the air. I think that was like a 15 to 20 foot drop. And that being the ramp, which is probably one of the hardest things around the ring, besides the side of the apron, you can't be all that fucking sick, demanding, that should have looked more realistic. Come on, man. Of course it wasn't going to be realistic. The guy would have died. He'd have broke his fucking spine or something. Have a little bit of compassion. I understand this is supposed to be blood and guts, and we're supposed to see a lot of carnage and freaking downright despicable things that people normally don't do, but come on. You can't be that fucking drastic and retarded for someone's health and well-being. This is a fucking show. It's not real. I mean, it's a fixed show. You can't throw someone from the top of the freaking cage onto a real metal freaking ramp. If you didn't like that, fuck you. Because I'd rather see Jericho live through a spot like that than be dead or have a permanent injury that could put him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I mean, come on. Anyone that complains about that's a fucking retard. But anyway, guys, at this time, not much to be said here. I covered pretty much everything. And good show overall. Bad ending, which ruined the fucking show, in my opinion. Some questionable things, like I brought up about Miro, the number one contendership between Pac and Orange Cassidy for the World Championship. That's another thing I'm not quite understanding. These guys haven't been really highlighted heavily on Dynamite, so I'm not quite understanding that. But hey, it is what it is. They're going based off of their wins and losses, so if they've been winning most of the time and not losing, by all means, I totally understand. But you're not going to get a very, unpredictable match. This is going to be very predictable. Whoever he faces, even if it's Pac, it's going to be a very predictable match with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's on a whole nother level. He is Roman Reigns of AEW, man. I mean, he's not on the same level as Roman Reigns. I mean, these guys are pretty neck and neck with each other. But Roman Reigns is the absolute best right now. He's a buffed up mofo motherfucker who is larger than life right now. This is a guy that you can't climb the fucking mountain and make it. You'll suffocate. You will suffocate from the loss of oxygen when you get to the top of the mountain. But that's a subject for a different day. That's Friday Night SmackDown, which we will get into on Friday. I will discuss that with you guys. I probably will be watching that episode later than when it ends. So I'll probably be watching by like the time it ends. So I probably won't have the review up until like 12 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So anyway, guys, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.